All right, so we're back here with James Jones again. James, Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations for the NBA. Can you hear me now, my man?
I can hear you. By the way, the JaVale McGee faking an injury to get a dunk is classic.
Yeah, that should have been number one. If we're being honest, like, no offense to Marcelo Huertas, okay, that should have been number one. But, all right, JJ, let me ask you this. Season's about to tip off. You're in this new role. What is going to be exciting for you as we get ready to tip off a new season?
Man, so the season this year is so competitive. When you look at the landscape of the NBA, you have all these emerging teams, all these established teams. The storylines are great. And you have a champion in OKC, a young team that's looking to repeat across a field of veteran teams that are looking to get back on that pedestal. So I'm excited about the level of competition that we'll see to start the season and hopefully to end the season as well.
Now, you're in charge of a lot of rules, okay, and enforcing those rules. We've heard about the heave rule at the end of the quarters, which I like. They've been doing that in the G League for a while. But Steph Curry's been talking about this high five rule. He says it's long overdue. You were a heck of a shooter. You won a three-point competition. We mentioned that LeBron called you one of the greatest shooting teammates he's ever had. What do you make of this rule, and why was it implemented now?
Well, you know, the spirit of the high five rule initially was to just make sure that when defenders competed at the point of release, they weren't penalized for actually trying to contest shots. And at some point it morphed into the shots were gone and guys weren't really competing. They were really just taking shots on our guys. And so to protect shooters and to make sure that like there was honest competition at the point of release, we felt we needed to address it. And if we can take the egregious ones out, you know, guys trying to deliver shots and kind of intimidate shooters, and get back to pure competition, I think that's when you see the plays that we love, which are highly contested shots, shots under duress when guys make great plays. And that type of pure competition is what our performers need.
Now, listen, every crafty shooter out there will try to find an edge. All right, remember the leg kick, the Reggie Miller rule? You know, what do you make of a potential shooter trying to take advantage of this high five rule? Is that possible? You were a great shooter.
I mean, I think like all things, our players will try to find an edge, and we just have to be diligent and make sure that we don't allow them to make these non-basketball moves. But that's the nature of our game. But our referees are keen, they're honed, they're locked in on it. They'll do a good job making sure that they strike a good balance and hold the line of like honest competition and marginal contact.
Look at that man right there. Look at that stroke right there, that three-point competition by this man right here. Look at that young fella, James Jones, back in the day, hitting those shots. All right, now let me ask you this: you're in this new role. You are not that far removed from playing. You were a GM recently, as we talked about to start the program here. So, for you, what is it going to be like if you have to, I don't know, potentially fine someone who either you played against or, God forbid, even a former teammate? How does that work?
I mean, it's a standard that's equal amongst the league. At the end of the day, my job is to maintain a standard because I truly believe if you can set a high standard, a high bar, our players are good enough to overcome it. And so they don't need any help. They don't need anything except clarity on what the rules are and where the lines are. And when you give them that clarity, they're able to go out there and perform. So I'm not concerned about that. As long as I can continue to do it fairly and equally, I think the guys will respect and appreciate that, and they'll keep it moving.
All right, you hear that, players? James ain't going to take it lightly on you just because he played with you back in the day. That ain't going to matter, okay? So, all right, let me ask you this. Speaking of players you played with back in the day, we just showed a bunch of pictures of you and LeBron. He's 40. He's going to be 41 on December 30th. How surprised are even you that he's still going at the rate he's going right now?
I mean, he's the best. I mean, he's one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player to ever play the game. That's to be debated. But what I do know is he demands greatness from himself. And when someone really pushes for greatness, you're never surprised. So am I impressed? Yes. I think most people are. But he's a guy that's always said he'll play as long as his body and his mind are engaged. And he's been doing that for the last 23 years, and he shows no signs of slowing down.
James, thank you so much. The Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations for the NBA. A pleasure having you on NBA Today. Great to see you.
Thanks again.
I'm on fire.